Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your tweets. What a lineup we've got for you today. Stewart Robson, Julien and Ian Darke, who flashed a little leg during the show. Maybe if we're good, we might see it once again. Ian is short. Hot it is in England. Jules, we'll start with you. Should Barcelona start Griezmann against Bayern Munich?
Oh, it's a big question. I think it's a debate that Quique Setién will probably have as well with his staff. He was poor, let's be honest, against Napoli in that second leg again. We've seen the good moments that he had this season, really, especially the game away at Villarreal when the La Liga restarted, when he was playing up front centrally with Suarez next to him and Messi behind them too as a number 10 in a sort of a free role with three midfielders behind. That's not how they played really against Napoli. And he feels like if he plays in another position than in that position, then he struggles a bit more to get involved. He doesn't get the ball much, and when he has it, he doesn't do enough with it. He's far away too much from the box in itself, so he never gets any chances or anything like this. So maybe it's counterproductive when you start him in that position, and if you are going to play, let's say, in a normal 4-3-3 formation like Barcelona usually do, then maybe there's no room for him, and you start Ansu Fati, for example, or someone else. It's a very, very interesting debate, I think, and I could see why he could be dropped for that game for sure.
Robert, you talked during the show about the high line that we see from Bayern Munich. Can Griezmann be the man to capitalise on that, or would you bring in someone like 17-year-old Ansu Fati?
Griezmann can make the most of it if he times his runs right, but it's also the midfield players. They've got to pick out those passes. But he makes runs from outside to in and breaks the offside line and runs down the side of Sula if he's playing, if Boateng's not fully fit. It's a difficult one because he's also going to have to do a lot of chasing back because Bayern Munich's fullbacks love to get forward, whether it's Pavard, who we think might be unfit, or Kimmich, who played the other night. They're always getting forward, so Griezmann's going to have to do a lot of backtracking as well as making forward runs.
Ian, what do you think?
He's good at that.
Oh, sorry, Rob, I thought you finished. Ian, what do you think?
I just think good players don't become bad players, and Griezmann has got something of a big occasion record, so yeah, I think I'd go with him.
Robbo, in your playing career, did you prefer to have a quiet manager such as a Pirlo or a Zidane, or a more vocal manager such as a Klopp and a Conte?
Depending whether I got on with them or I didn't get on with them.
You don't get on with anyone, Robbo.
I got on with Terry Neal, I got on with Don Howe, I got on with John Lyle, I got on with Terry Butcher. Don Howe again. Don Howe was quite vocal, but he was a very good coach. Terry Butcher was quite vocal, I got on with him. But I didn't like managers that spoke out of turn and I thought spoke for the sake of speaking, like, for instance, Bobby Gould. So there's one that I would throw into the mix. But most managers, I didn't care. As long as they were good coaches, as long as they knew what they were talking about, whether they were quiet or vocal, didn't matter to me.
You never punched Bobby Gould, though, did you?
No, it was his assistant, unfortunately.
His assistant, yes. Yep. Has Ian ever commentated a game Robbo was involved in? If yes, what's his favourite memory of that game?
Oh, I can't remember, but I'm absolutely certain I did. Yeah, probably when he was at Coventry City. And in every game, he was absolutely outstanding. and you can buy me a drink later, Rob.
He couldn't even say it with a straight face.
If it was at Coventry, I was Player of the Year, Dan. So don't worry about that.
Don't you worry about that, son. Don't you worry.
Robbo's definitely not done a commentary on a game when I've been playing. That's for certain.
Who would you say Robbo was akin to, Darke?
I mean, to be fair, Robbo was a sort of energetic box-to-box, very good midfield player. So all joking aside, and there was an injury issue, obviously, towards the end. But he was definitely a big young star in his Arsenal days, for sure.
Robert, who would you compare yourself to now that maybe people could relate to?
To now? Difficult to compare myself with someone now because most midfield players now either do one side of the job, the defensive side of the job, or they're an attacking midfielder or a creative midfield player. In the 80s, 90s, you had to do both sides of the game. So I was always compared at the time to Brian Robson, who was playing for Manchester United, who probably many of you don't remember, but that was the sort of player that I was akin to.
Robbo, a couple of days ago, Paul Merson came out and claimed that Harry Redknapp is a better tactician than Wenger. What are your thoughts on it?
I would probably say that Harry Redknapp certainly I would say both managers, or either manager, was great tacticians. Both were good man managers. Arsene Wenger obviously managed the team very well for many years. He was a great dietitian and great buyer of players when he's younger days, or when he first went to Arsenal. And Harry Redknapp is a great buyer of players. I think he motivates the players very well. But I would say that both were not outstanding coaches or tacticians. They just got the best out of the players they had available.
You okay, Jules?
Yeah, I'm all good. I remember this story. I can't name the player obviously, but when I asked him one day, how were Redknapp session on the blackboard and tactic, he said, what sessions? No, those didn't exist. There was never any tactical work.
Ian, would you please give us your take on the underreported introduction of a salary cap in League One and League Two? Seems a bit myopic to me.
Yeah, I think it is, and there's quite a lot of strong feeling going on about that in the lower divisions, and obviously the bigger clubs like Portsmouth and Sunderland and Ipswich are opposing that because they're saying, well, we're getting 18, 20,000, maybe more than that in Sunderland's case, money through the gate. We can't spend it anymore. So I think what you're going to see is a talent drain from Leagues 1 and Leagues 2. I think players in those divisions, the better players, will be looking for work abroad. And that is starting to happen. They're getting offers from places like Belgium to go and play there. So I don't think it's a great idea. I get the economics. It's going to level the playing field, but I think it might be a dumbing down.
Ian, a big Portsmouth fan as well. Speaking of dumbing down. Final question. Just was reading about Robbo and learnt that he also played cricket. How much does he rate his skills in that sport?
Dan, it's a long time ago. When I stopped playing cricket properly, I was about 15. So from 10 to 15, I was a good cricketer at schoolboy level. Trevor Bailey, who was an England cricketer who wrote a book, and I was the main character in the book. It was called Cricketers in the Making. Said I was the most destructive schoolboy cricketer he'd ever seen. But that all stopped at 15.
So, Robert, you had to make the choice, yeah? You came to this kind of fork in your career path, and it was either be a cricketer or a footballer.
Yeah, and it was all because they were overlapping. Essex wanted me to go and play a big game for them. Arsenal wanted me to go and play a big game for them. And Arsenal got the heads up, and I went to Arsenal. And from that moment on, I always wanted to be a footballer. So cricket was never an option after the age of 15.
Do you regret that now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wouldn't have got so many injuries, maybe.
Yeah.
But certainly don't regret it.
Jules,
I mean, younger viewers might not know that way back in the day, there were quite a few footballers, professional footballers, who played cricket at the top level during the summer. I mean, that is impossible now. I mean, one of them might have been, it was a bit too late for him, Gary Lineker, who's a very good cricketer. I think he played for Leicestershire's second 11. Few others as well. Of course, that is all out of the window, but there are obviously a lot of very good all-round sportsmen and women.
Jules, your son, obviously, an aspiring cricketer. Would you prefer him to be a cricketer or a footballer?
Oh, that's a good question. I would rather him being a lawyer or a doctor, surgeon, but if he can only be a football player.
Boring. No, surely it's more fun to have a sportsman as a kid, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I think it would be too much. I would not be able to watch him. I can't watch my own son playing football now under 11 or
it's
under 8.
It's not about you, Jules. It's about him and his enjoyment, his fulfillment in life. Oh, go be a doctor to keep Dad happy because he can't watch
if that's
me
what
play.
he wants to do. As a father, I would rather him being a surgeon, for example. But if he wants to be and choose between football and cricket, there's a lot I like about cricket, as you know, in the values and the spirit, I guess. Fairness, I think football is the prime sport, really.
Jules, he can always
become a top player at football.
Follow in your footsteps. He can always follow in your footsteps and be a biased PSG and Arsenal journalist.
That's very true. I think he'd be very happy with that. He came on Extra Time the other day in his PSG shirt, and all his friends were buzzing, and all the family as well. So I think he's got that in him anyway. You don't even have to push him or ask him. You know, look how I turn out. It's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, the bar set low, isn't it, in the Laurent household? Either you're a professional footballer or you're a surgeon. That's it. Ian, I've seen you in the whites. I'm sure I've seen you playing cricket before, Ian.
Yeah, I played cricket all my life, every summer. Not this one, obviously, because there hasn't been too much cricket. Yeah, I play for my village team. I'm an extremely modest player. But I have made I do make a few runs as a batsman.
That's leading to
quite
the
a
question.
boring, defensive, dull batsman, it has to be said. But yeah, I do make a few runs.
Top scorer? What's your top score then, Ian? Have you got a century before?
I've got 3 centuries, yeah.
Yes! I love it. Well done. Jules would be disappointed and ask why you didn't do any open heart surgery. But there we go. That brings us to the end of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. We'll be back here tomorrow for more. Until then, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.